My phone wouldn't stop vibrating. 2:47 p.m. Another text from my mother-in-law. I gripped the hospital bed railing as another contraction tore through me, the epidural doing nothing for the pressure, the burning, the overwhelming need to push. The nurse was saying something about breathing, but all I could focus on was that buzzing phone on the tray table, Patricia's name flashing across the screen for the 6th time in 20 minutes. "Mrs. Morgan, I need you to focus," the nurse said gently, moving the phone out of my line of sight. "Your baby's almost here." But I knew. Even through the haze of labor, the exhaustion, the pain that had been building for the past 14 hours, I knew something was wrong. Patricia never texted during important moments, as she called them. She preferred grand phone calls, her voice dripping with concern that somehow always felt like criticism. The fact that she was texting now, repeatedly, while I was literally bringing her granddaughter into the world, sent ice through my veins despite the sweat pouring down my face. I should have listened to that instinct. I should have made David check his phone when he went to get ice chips. But I was so focused on meeting Lily, on finally holding the baby I'd been dreaming about for 9 months, that I pushed the worry down deep and focused on breathing through the next contraction. 3 hours later, when they placed my daughter in my arms for the first time, I forgot about everything else. Lily Rose Morgan weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces, had a full head of dark hair like mine, and when she opened her eyes and looked at me, I felt my entire world realign. David was crying, kissing my forehead, telling me how amazing I was, how perfect she was, how he couldn't believe we were parents. For exactly 43 minutes, everything was perfect. Then David finally checked his phone. I watched his face change. The joy drained out of it so quickly I thought something terrible had happened. His mother had texted him too, apparently. A lot. His hands started shaking as he scrolled, and when he looked up at me, there was something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Not quite fear. Not quite anger. Something closer to resignation. "I need to make a call," he said, already backing toward the door. "I'll be right back." "David. What is it?" "It's nothing. Just, my mom had a question about the nursery." "I'll handle it." The nursery. Our beautiful, carefully planned nursery that we'd spent months putting together. The sage green walls I'd painted myself at 7 months pregnant, standing on a step stool while David hovered nervously below. The vintage white crib we'd found at an estate sale and lovingly restored. The custom bookshelf David's father had built before he passed away, the last thing he ever made. The organic cotton sheets, the handmade mobile, the rocking chair that had been in my family for 3 generations. $8,000 worth of furniture, clothes, supplies. Everything a baby could possibly need, organized and ready in the 2nd bedroom of our Cambridge apartment. The nursery had become my sanctuary during pregnancy. The place I'd sit and imagine our life with Lily, rocking in that old chair and talking to my belly about all the books we'd read together, all the memories we'd make. Patricia had hated all of it. "Too expensive," she'd said when she saw the crib. In my day, babies slept in dresser drawers and turned out fine. "Organic cotton?" She'd sneered at the sheets. What a waste of money. Regular sheets were good enough for David. A $300 stroller? "Olivia, you're going to spoil this child before she's even born. This is exactly what's wrong with your generation." David always made excuses for her. "She's just old-fashioned. She doesn't mean it like that. She's worried about our finances." And I'd learned to smile and nod and ignore the knot in my stomach every time his mother walked into our home and found something new to criticize. But she'd never actually interfered before. She complained, she judged, she made passive-aggressive comments, but she didn't touch our things. We'd made that boundary clear after she rearranged our entire kitchen the week after our wedding to make it more efficient. No touching our stuff without permission. David came back 15 minutes later. His face was pale. "What did she say?" I asked, adjusting Lily in my arms. He sat down heavily in the chair next to my bed. "She went over to the apartment today. To water your plants," she said. And she noticed the nursery was, in her words, excessively lavish for a newborn. I felt something cold settle in my chest. "What did she do, David?" "She made some decisions. About what Lily actually needs versus what she thinks we wasted money on." "What kind of decisions?" He couldn't look at me. She took some things to a consignment shop. To help us out. Since babies are so expensive and we need to be practical." The room tilted. She took things? Which things? Most of it, actually. His voice was barely a whisper. She kept the basics, a few onesies, some diapers. But she said the crib was unnecessarily fancy, and the stroller was obscenely priced. And all those organic cotton items were yuppie nonsense, and she found this great secondhand shop in Newton that gave her a really fair price. She sold our baby's nursery. I heard my voice from far away, flat and emotionless, while I was in labor. She sold everything. She's holding the money for us. She says she'll give it back once we've learned to be more financially responsible. She's trying to help Liv. In her way. Get out. What? Get out of this room. Right now. Olivia, come on. Your mother sold our daughter's nursery while I was giving birth. And you're defending her. Lily started to fuss, sensing my tension. You're actually sitting there making excuses for her. I'm not defending her. I'm just trying to explain. Leave. Now. Before I call security. He left. And I sat there in that hospital bed, holding my brand new daughter, and cried so hard a nurse came in to check if I was having a medical emergency. I texted my sister Rebecca. She lived in Providence, about an hour away, and had been planning to visit the next day. I asked her to come now and to stop at Target on the way. I gave her a list: basic bassinet, newborn clothes, diapers, wipes, formula just in case. Everything a baby needed to survive the first few days while I figured out what the hell to do with my marriage. She showed up 2 hours later with her husband Tom, their SUV packed with supplies and their faces tight with fury. Rebecca had never liked Patricia. She'd warned me before the wedding that David's mother had narcissistic control freak written all over her. I thought she was being dramatic. I'm going to kill her, Rebecca said, setting up the portable bassinet with shaking hands. I'm actually going to drive to Newton and commit a felony. Get in line, Tom muttered, assembling a mini changing station. David came back around 8 p.m. with flowers and apologies. I let him hold Lily, because she was his daughter too, but I couldn't look at him. I talked to my mom, he started. I told her she crossed a line. And she says she was trying to prevent us from making a huge financial mistake. That we need to save money for important things, not waste it on status symbols. She says when the time is right, she'll return the money, but right now she's keeping it in a high-yield savings account for Lily's future. She stole $8,000 worth of our property. It's not stealing if she's family. Get out. He opened his mouth to argue, then looked at my face and closed it. He left. I checked out of the hospital the next afternoon against the doctor's mild protests. I couldn't stay there another night, couldn't bear the thought of David coming back with more of Patricia's excuses. Rebecca and Tom drove us home to Cambridge, and when I walked into our apartment I made myself go look at the nursery. It was worse than I'd imagined. Patricia hadn't just taken the expensive items. She'd stripped the room almost bare. The crib was gone. The dresser. The changing table. The rocking chair. My great-grandmother's rocking chair. The bookshelf David's father had built with his dying hands. She'd left a pack-and-play in the middle of the empty room, the kind you get for $40 at Walmart, with a note on top in her precise handwriting: "This is all a baby really needs. You'll thank me when you're not drowning in debt. Patricia." I stood there holding Lily, looking at that empty room with its sage-green walls, and something in me that had been bending finally snapped. Rebecca found me 20 minutes later, still standing in the doorway. "Liv?" She took my great-grandmother's chair. "I know, honey. David's father made that bookshelf while he was dying of cancer. He told David it was for his future grandchildren. It was one of the last things he ever said." Rebecca put her arm around me. "We'll get it back." "She's not going to give it back, Becca. She's going to keep the money for Lily's future and use it as leverage for the rest of our lives. Every decision I make as a mother, she'll throw it in my face. Remember when you were so irresponsible I had to save you from yourselves? This is just the beginning. So what are you going to do?" I looked down at Lily, sleeping peacefully in my arms, oblivious to the war that had just been declared on her birthday. "I'm going to find out exactly what she sold and where she sold it. And then I'm going to decide if my marriage is worth saving." Tom turned out to be unexpectedly useful. He worked in IT and had what he called a very particular set of skills when it came to tracking digital footprints. Within 2 hours, he'd found Patricia's Facebook Marketplace posts, her Nextdoor activity, and her listing on a consignment shop's website. She hadn't even used a fake name. Patricia Morgan, Newton, MA, posted over the past 6 hours while I was in labor: vintage white crib, $800. Custom-built bookshelf, $1,200. Organic crib sheets and blankets, various prices. Designer stroller system, $400 a hal trays. Antique rocking chair, $600. Tom screenshotted everything. Timestamps. Prices. Photos she'd taken in our nursery. Her description on the rocking chair made me want to vomit. Beautiful vintage piece. My daughter-in-law's family heirloom, but she has no use for it anymore. Perfect for a growing family. No use for it anymore. Like I was dead. Like Lily was dead. Like we'd simply ceased to exist and she could redistribute our belongings to strangers. Most of it already sold, Tom said quietly. The crib, the stroller, a lot of the clothes. But the rocking chair and the bookshelf are still active listings. And I found the consignment shop she used. It's called Second Chances on Route 9. I called them. A cheerful woman answered and confirmed that yes, Patricia Morgan had brought in several high-end baby items that afternoon. Yes, some had already sold. No, I couldn't get them back unless I wanted to buy them from their current owners at the marked-up resale price. What about the items that haven't sold yet? I asked. Well, those are still here, but they belong to Mrs. Morgan now. She'd have to authorize any returns. I'm her daughter-in-law. Those items were stolen from my home while I was giving birth to her granddaughter. Silence. Then, oh my God. Yeah. Let me talk to my manager. Can you call back in an hour? I called David instead. He answered on the first ring. Did you know your mother was posting our stuff online? I asked without preamble. What? Facebook Marketplace. Nextdoor. Consignment shops. She's been selling our daughter's nursery on the internet, David. While I was in labor, she was taking photos in our apartment and writing descriptions about how I have no use for my great-grandmother's rocking chair anymore. I didn't know she was posting it online. She just said she took some things to a shop to get us some money back. She stole $8,000 worth of property and is selling it on Facebook. That's a crime, David. That's actual theft. She's my mother. And Lily is your daughter. The daughter who came home to an empty room because your mother decided she knows better than us what our child needs. He was quiet for a long time. Then, what do you want me to do? I want you to go to your mother's house right now and get our stuff back. All of it. The money from what she already sold and the physical items that are still listed. I want you to tell her that if she ever sets foot in our apartment again without explicit permission, I'm filing a police report for theft. And I want you to decide if you're her son or Lily's father, because you can't be both right now. That's not fair. Fair? Your mother stole from us while I was in labor, David. While I was screaming in pain, she was in our home with the key you gave her, selling our baby's furniture to strangers. And you're worried about what's fair? I'll talk to her. No. You'll get our stuff back. There's a difference. I hung up. Rebecca made me dinner while Tom entertained Lily. I couldn't eat. I kept thinking about that rocking chair, about my grandmother teaching me to nurse in it when I was learning with my first niece. About my great-grandmother holding her children in it 100 years ago. About all the memories I'd imagined making with Lily in that chair, and some stranger from Newton buying it for $600 because my mother-in-law decided I didn't need it. The consignment shop manager called me back. Mrs. Morgan, I spoke with our owner. Under the circumstances, we're willing to pull the remaining items from sale and return them to you. We don't want any part of a theft situation. Thank you. I have to say, in 20 years of doing this, I've never had someone bring in a haul like that and tell me it was from their daughter-in-law who had no use for it. I should have asked more questions. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. Can I pick the items up tomorrow? Absolutely. And Mrs. Morgan? The bookshelf is absolutely beautiful. Your father-in-law was a master craftsman. I cried again after we hung up. David showed up at midnight. He looked like he'd aged 10 years. He was carrying 2 large boxes and had his mother's minivan parked illegally outside our building. I got what I could, he said. Over the next 20 minutes, he brought in 7 boxes. Not everything. The crib was gone to a family in Brookline. The stroller was in Wellesley. Dozens of outfits, blankets, and accessories had been sold to various buyers across eastern Massachusetts. But the bookshelf was there, and the rocking chair, and about $3,000 worth of items that hadn't sold yet. What about the money? I asked. She says she already put it in a high-yield savings account under Lily's name and she can't access it until Lily's 18. That's a lie. I know. He sat down heavily on our couch, his head in his hands. I know it's a lie, Liv. I'm not stupid. Then why are you letting her get away with it? Because she's my mother. He looked up at me, and there were tears in his eyes. Because I don't know how to make her stop. Because I've spent my whole life trying to make her happy, trying to be good enough, and nothing I do is ever right. And now she's done this thing, this horrible thing. And I know I should be furious, I know I should cut her off. But she's my mother and I don't know how. I sat down next to him, still holding Lily. David, did your mother do something like this to Jennifer? He froze. Jennifer was his ex-wife. The marriage that had lasted less than 2 years. We didn't talk about Jennifer much. Why are you asking about Jennifer? Because I need to know if this is a pattern. He was quiet for so long I thought he wouldn't answer. Then, Jennifer was pregnant when we divorced. She lost the baby at 12 weeks. My mother sent her a card that said, "Blessing in disguise. You weren't ready to be a mother anyway." Oh God. And Melissa? His college girlfriend who'd almost been his fiancée. My mother told her she wasn't good enough for our family. Listed all her flaws point by point over Thanksgiving dinner. Melissa left and never came back. David, your mother has destroyed every relationship you've ever had. I know. And now she's trying to destroy ours. I know. So what are you going to do about it? He looked at Lily, sleeping in my arms. Then he looked at me. I'm going to choose you. Both of you. I should have done it hours ago. I should have done it years ago. But I'm doing it now. What does that mean? It means we're changing the locks tomorrow. It means my mother doesn't get a key. Doesn't get unsupervised access to our home. Doesn't get to make decisions about our daughter. It means if she can't respect our boundaries, she doesn't get to be in our lives. She's going to lose her mind. I know. She's going to blame me. I know. And I'm going to tell her that this is my decision, not yours. That I'm Lily's father and your husband, and that comes first. I wanted to believe him, but I'd heard promises before. The next morning, while David went to pick up the bookshelf and rocking chair from Second Chances, I did something I probably shouldn't have. I went through his old emails. I told myself I was looking for evidence, for patterns, for some kind of proof that I wasn't crazy for being this angry. What I found was worse than I'd imagined. An email thread from 6 years ago, from Jennifer's account to David's. The subject line was, "Your mother." I almost didn't open it, but something made me click. The email was long, detailed, and devastating. Jennifer described how Patricia had sabotaged their marriage from day one. How she'd told Jennifer she was too career-focused to be a good wife. How she'd rearranged their apartment every time they left her alone in it. How she'd opened their mail, made comments about their finances, criticized every decision they made. And then, when Jennifer got pregnant, how Patricia had become even worse. Telling Jennifer she was too young, too selfish, too ambitious. That a baby would ruin her life. That she should wait until she was more settled. When Jennifer miscarried, Patricia's card had been the final straw. But it wasn't just the card. Jennifer had included screenshots of texts Patricia had sent her after. "This is for the best. God works in mysterious ways. Maybe next time you'll be more ready." Jennifer's email ended with a warning. "David, I love you, but I can't compete with your mother. She will always come first. Until you can set boundaries with her, until you can choose your own family over her, you'll never have a successful marriage. I hope someday you find the strength to stand up to her, but I can't wait around for that day." David had never replied to the email. As far as I could tell, he'd never even acknowledged it. I kept digging. There were emails from Melissa too, from 8 years ago. Similar stories. Patricia criticizing her appearance, her education, her family background. Showing up uninvited to their apartment. Going through Melissa's things. The final email was heartbreaking. I thought I could handle it. I thought love would be enough. But your mother will never let you love anyone more than you love her. And I deserve better than being second place in my own relationship. Again, no response from David. I sat there with my sleeping daughter, reading through years of evidence that my husband had been watching his mother destroy his relationships, and had done nothing. Just made excuses, tried to keep the peace, chose his mother over and over again. Until now. Maybe. When David came back with the furniture, I was waiting for him. "I read Jennifer's emails," I said. "And Melissa's." His face went white. "Liv, Did you know your mother texted Jennifer after the miscarriage? Told her it was for the best? I didn't know about the texts. I knew about the card. And you stayed in contact with her anyway. You kept bringing women home to her anyway. You gave her a key to our apartment anyway. I thought it would be different with you. I thought she'd be better because we were having a baby. David, she wasn't better. She got worse. She's been escalating for 9 months and you've been making excuses the entire time. I know. No, I don't think you do. Because if you really knew, really understood what your mother is, you would have protected me from her. You would have protected Lily from her. But instead, you gave her a key and access and the benefit of the doubt, and she used all of that to rob us blind while I was in labor. He was crying now, sitting on our couch with his head in his hands. What do you want from me? I want you to mean it. When you say you're choosing us, I want you to actually do it. Not just for today, not just because you're embarrassed, but permanently. I want you to go to therapy and figure out why you've let your mother control your life for 34 years. I want you to set real boundaries and enforce them. And I want you to accept that if you can't do those things, I'm taking Lily and leaving. He looked up at me, his face streaked with tears. You'd really leave? David, your mother stole my great-grandmother's rocking chair and sold it on Facebook while I was giving birth. Yes, I would really leave. I would do anything to protect our daughter from growing up thinking that kind of behavior is normal. Okay. Okay, what? Okay, I'll do it. Therapy. Boundaries. All of it. I'll call someone today. And your mother? I'm going to her house right now. I'm going to tell her what she did was unforgivable. I'm going to tell her she's not welcome in our lives until she can respect us as parents. And I'm going to tell her that if she ever pulls anything like this again, I'm filing a police report and getting a restraining order. She's going to say I'm turning you against her. Then I'll tell her that I'm turning myself against her. That I'm the one making this choice. He left. I sat in the rocking chair. The chair my great-grandmother had rocked my grandmother in. My grandmother had rocked my mother in. My mother had rocked me in. And now I was rocking Lily in, and I tried to believe that this time would be different. David was gone for 3 hours. When he came back, he looked hollowed out. How'd she take it? I asked. She called me an ungrateful son. She said you've poisoned me against her. She said I'm going to regret this when you leave me for someone else, and I realized too late that she was only trying to help. I'm sorry. Don't be. She also said that Lily isn't really her grandchild because I'm choosing you over her, so she's disowning both of us. Which honestly made it easier. She doesn't mean that. She'll call tomorrow with apologies and excuses. I know. And I told her that when she does, I won't answer unless she's ready to genuinely apologize and respect our boundaries. I blocked her number. I stared at him. You blocked your mother's number? My therapist says enmeshed relationships require dramatic separation to heal. I called a therapist while I was driving home. I have an appointment Thursday. David. I read Jennifer's email, he said quietly. After you mentioned it, I went back and read the whole thing. And Melissa's too, and I realized I've been doing this my entire adult life. Letting my mother destroy everything good because I was too scared to stand up to her. I can't do it anymore. Liv. I can't watch her hurt you and Lily the way she hurt them. She's going to make your life hell. She's been making my life hell for 34 years. At least now I'll have a good reason to keep her out of it. Patricia tried to come to the hospital the day we brought Lily home. Rebecca had insisted on driving us, and as we pulled up to our building, there was Patricia's minivan parked out front. Do not engage, Rebecca said. Tom and I will handle it. But David got out of the car. I watched through the window as he approached his mother, who was already crying, already reaching for him with her perfectly manicured hands. I couldn't hear what he said, but I saw her face change from sad to angry to disbelieving. She tried to push past him to our building. He blocked her. Tom got out to back him up. Together, they stood between Patricia and the door while Rebecca helped me and Lily inside. The yelling started as we reached the elevator. I could hear Patricia screaming through the glass doors. You can't keep me from my granddaughter. I have rights. I'll call my lawyer. You're going to regret this. She sounds unhinged, Rebecca said as we rode up. She's losing control, I said. That's the same thing to her. Patricia called 67 times that first week. David didn't answer. She left voicemails ranging from tearful apologies to vicious accusations to legal threats. David saved them all, on his therapist's advice. She showed up at our building twice more. The second time, building security called the police. We didn't press charges, but the officer gave her a formal trespass warning. If she came back, she'd be arrested. She switched tactics. She started calling David's office, telling his coworkers I was keeping him from his mother. She called my office too, leaving messages with my assistant about what a terrible daughter-in-law I was. She posted on Facebook about parental alienation and grandparents' rights. But David held firm. Every time I wavered, every time I felt guilty, he reminded me, "She sold our daughter's nursery while you were in labor. That's not the behavior of someone who deserves access to our family." His brother called. David's younger brother Marcus, who lived in California and talked to Patricia maybe 3 times a year. "Dude, what the hell did you do to Mom? She's calling me crying about grandparents' rights." David told him everything. Every detail of what Patricia had done, every boundary she'd crossed, every relationship she'd destroyed. There was a long silence on the other end. Then Marcus said, "Holy shit. I'm sorry, man. I didn't know it was that bad." "You didn't want to know. Neither did I. For what it's worth, she did something similar to Jenna and me. When we got engaged, she told Jenna she'd never be part of the family because she wasn't Catholic. We just moved 3,000 miles away instead of dealing with it. I'm dealing with it now. Good for you. Seriously. Someone needed to. Lily is 3 months old now. The nursery is complete again, rebuilt with new items and the salvaged pieces we managed to recover. The bookshelf sits against one wall, David's father's final gift to his granddaughter. The rocking chair is by the window, where I sit with Lily every night before bed. Patricia sent a certified letter last week. Her lawyer wrote it, demanding visitation rights and threatening to sue for grandparent access. David's lawyer wrote back explaining that Massachusetts grandparents' rights are limited to cases where the parents are divorced, deceased, or proven unfit. Since we're married and actively raising our daughter, Patricia has no legal standing. She'll try again. I know she will. People like Patricia don't give up easily. But David is in therapy twice a week now. We're in couples counseling once a week. He's reading books about enmeshed families and narcissistic parents and setting healthy boundaries. He's doing the work. Last night, as I was rocking Lily to sleep in my great-grandmother's chair, David came and sat on the floor next to us. "I'm sorry," he said. "For all of it. For not protecting you sooner. For making excuses for her. For not seeing what she was until she did something so horrible I couldn't ignore it anymore. I know. If I could go back and change it. You can't. But you can be better going forward. For Lily. For us." He reached up and took Lily's tiny hand. "She looks like you. She's got your chin. God help her." We sat there in the dim light of the nursery, the room Patricia tried to destroy, now rebuilt stronger than before. Not perfect. Not the same as it was. But ours. Sometimes I think about the version of this story where David chose his mother. Where I'm a single mom right now, co-parenting with a man who lets his mother control our daughter's life. Where Lily grows up watching her father make excuses for her grandmother's cruelty, learning that love means accepting unacceptable behavior. But that's not our story. Our story is messier, harder, but ultimately about choosing the family we create over the family we came from. It's about David finding his spine at 34 because his daughter deserved a father who would protect her. It's about me setting boundaries I should have set years ago because my daughter deserved to see her mother stand up for herself. Patricia probably tells people I stole her son, that I'm controlling and manipulative and poisoned him against her. She probably believes it, on some level. People like Patricia always cast themselves as the victim. But I sleep at night knowing my daughter will never wonder if she's good enough. She'll never have a grandmother who sells her things without permission, who criticizes her parents, who treats love like a transaction with conditions. She'll grow up in a home where boundaries are respected and no means no, and family doesn't get to hurt you just because they're family. And if that makes me the villain in Patricia's story, I'll wear that label with pride. Because in my daughter's story, I'm the mother who protected her. And that's the only story that matters.
I'm freezing. I'm bleeding. Slowly fading away. But don't worry. I'm fine. cold has settled in my heartbeat, like winter living in my veins. Every breath feels numb and fragile, every smile just hides the pain. I'm breaking quietly in silence, falling slow without a sound. Yet I keep saying I'm okay, while my world burns to the ground. I'm frozen here, I'm bleeding slowly, dying piece by piece inside. But I still whisper, it's alright, just to keep you from goodbye. I'm shattered, love, but don't you worry, I'll pretend till my last breath. Even while my soul is fading, I'll say everything's okay. Maybe pain just learned to live here, maybe sorrow feels like home. So I wear my wounds like armor and survive them all alone. I'm frozen here, I'm bleeding slowly, dying piece by piece inside. But I still whisper, it's alright, just to keep you from goodbye. I'm shattered, love, but don't you worry, I'll pretend till my last breath. Even while my soul is fading, I'll say everything's okay. If you ever see me smiling, no, it's just my last defense. 'Cause sometimes love means hiding how much you're suffering. No, I'm frozen here, I'm bleeding slowly, dying piece by piece inside. But I still whisper, it's alright, just to keep you from goodbye. I'm shattered, love, but don't you worry, I'll pretend till my last breath. Even while my soul is fading, I'll say everything's okay. It's okay. Some days feel off, like I'm standing but still falling. A little pain, a little tired, and no one to tell it all to. There are days that feel unsteady, like I'm drifting out of place. Every step just feels so heavy, with a smile I have to fake. A little hurt I keep inside me, a little weight I always hide, and 1,000 quiet worries I've been holding deep inside. There's no one here to tell it to, no one who would understand. So I carry all these feelings like they're slipping through my hands. A little broken, little lost, trying hard to just get through. All these nights I stay awake with everything I never say to you. I keep walking through the silence like it's all I've ever known. Every crowded room reminds me how it feels to be alone. There's no one here to tell it to, no one who would understand. So I carry all these feelings like they're slipping through my hands. A little broken, little lost, trying hard to just get through. All these nights I stay awake with everything I never say to you. But for now I keep it buried in the parts of me too weak. There's no one here to tell it to, no one who would understand. So I carry all these feelings like they're slipping through my hands. A little broken, little lost, trying hard to just get through. All these nights I stay awake with everything I never say to you.